Hello, Last Word on Gaming. I am so excited to bring this interview to you today. I got to speak with David Hayter, the voice of Naked Snake and Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid video games. This interview was done on the floor of the Fan Expo convention here in the Chicago area, and let's just jump right into it. How you doing today, Dave?
Well, I'm pretty damn good, thank you.
Awesome, love to hear it. So you've had a pretty eventful day today. You had a panel earlier. How did that go?
It was fantastic. I had a panel with Steve Downes, who plays Master Chief on the Halo games, and I'd never met Steve before, and obviously he's a legend, and so that was super cool. And questions were great. Audience was awesome. Can't beat it.
Awesome. Any questions kind of really stick out to you, or?
Well, they asked what's the weirdest thing people have asked us to do, and I talked about signing people's boobs, and Steve talked about being asked to ask people to marry other people, and officiate weddings and all that weird stuff.
So, as the Master Chief, right?
As the Master Chief, or Snake for me, and it was just good questions.
Good. Love to have that crowd interaction, right?
yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, as far as the Metal Gear Solid games go, I'm obviously a huge Metal Gear fan. What was kind of the early experience like for you, starting back with the early days? How did you kind of fall into the role? What was the experience like?
Well, I was just an actor in Hollywood, and I got called in for an audition. Went to this weird little house in Hollywood, and and they had the Yoji Shinkawa artwork up on the walls. And I auditioned for it, and then they said that I got it. And I was like, that's pretty damn cool. It was actually Jennifer Hale called me and said, guess who's going to make some money? And I was like, is it me? Because I need some money. And it was me, and I got to be Solid Snake.
That's so cool. And so how has the role kind of evolved for you throughout the different games? And, starting all the way back from the original, going all the way up to 4, where we see Snake change a lot. How did you kind of change?
Well, I changed a lot. I mean, my career was very different from the time I started. When the time I started, I was a broke actor, but the next year after I did Metal Gear, the first Metal Gear Solid, I got the job writing the movie X-Men. So then I became a big screenwriter, and so my life changed entirely. And I had a daughter, and that was pretty cool. And then for Snake, he obviously went through a lot of changes and hassles and pain and difficulty, and then he was advanced aging, and then he died, and well, we don't know if he died or not, but we'll see. And so it's been quite a journey for the two of us.
That's awesome. It's cool to see how you've both evolved. So any favorite memorable lines? We've given so many in all of the Metal Gear games. Any favorite lines throughout the years?
Well, I liked when they told me that Johnny Sasaki had dysentery, and I got to say diarrhea in a very sort of dire tone. So that was cool. And I liked talking to, was it Drebin or Sigint about the box. I just feel more comfortable in the box, So there's been a lot of... I like it when Snake is weird and funny.
Has a little bit of humor to him.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, one of my favorite lines from Metal Gear Solid 2 is right after you meet Pliskin as Raiden, he's on the bridge and he's in the box, and if you fire a couple of rounds, later Snake calls him and says, I've lost a couple of boxes thanks to you.
Oh, right. That's funny. Oh, I forgot that.
It's a fun little Easter egg, and like we talked about earlier, that's one of my all-time favorite games, so I always remember that one. So,
that's awesome.
Any particular favorite, putting you on the spot, any particular favorite Metal Gear games out of all the ones you've been a part of?
Well, I love them all, and they're all uniquely special to me. But my favorite is Snake Eater.
Snake Eater.
Yeah, Metal Gear 3. It's as far as I'm concerned, it's like the most perfect game from start to finish, and it just feels like a movie. And I love the retro nature. I love being in the jungle. All of that. It's my favorite to play.
Do you find yourself in a different headspace when you're voicing Naked Snake versus Solid Snake?
Well, I try to. In Snake Eater, it was the beginning of Naked Snake's career, and so he wasn't quite as beat down as Solid, and so I tried to, put more energy into it. And, like, he's excited to go out into the battlefield, and he doesn't know that he's going to get his eye shot out or his arm broken or his heart broken by the boss, and so I tried to start out with a pretty positive energy with that one.
Right on. Well, hey, David, thank you so much for your time. It's great having you on the site, and thank you for being here.
Well, thank you, and to all your listeners, you're pretty good.